So, with 2017 finally wrapping up, it's time once again to do my top 10 best movies of 2017. And every time I make a top 10 video, I always make this announcement. None of this is fact. It's all opinionated. This is an opinionated list. In my opinion, these are the 10 movies that I think are the best of this year. So, if there is a movie that came out this year that you saw and really enjoyed but did not make my list, do not threaten me in the comments. Just as long as we can respect our opinions, we're good. And I did not get a chance to see every movie that came out this year. Like, for example, Disaster Artist. I was actually dying to see it, but I unfortunately did not get a chance to see it. I really want to see Disaster Artist. Let's get right into it. These are my top 10 best movies of 2017. But before we get to the top 10, let's start the list with some honorable mentions. The movies that, unfortunately, did not make my list.
Beauty and the Beast, Captain Underpants, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the Lego Batman Movie, Thor Ragnarok, and Wonder Woman.
Alright guys, this is it. The moment we've all been waiting for. My top 10 best movies of 2017. So let's start the list with number 10. And number 10 is
Get Out.
I unfortunately did not get a chance to review Get Out, but over the summer I did get a chance to watch it, and honestly, it was a fantastic movie. It really surprised me. Jordan Peele from Key and Peele, which is a hilarious TV series, he directed this movie, and he really surprised me because his direction in this movie was phenomenal. Get Out had a great message about racial issues, and it is probably my favorite suspense thriller I've seen in quite a while. Let's move on to number 9. And number 9 is
It.
It was one of the most surprising movies I have seen all year, and it might be my favorite horror movie of this decade. The kid actors in this movie were phenomenal, and Bill Skarsgård absolutely knocked it out of the park as Pennywise. He was so creepy, and I think he could get an Oscar nomination. I hope so. It is probably the best Stephen King adaptation since The Shawshank Redemption, and I loved it so much, I even pre-ordered the Blu-ray. Let's move on to number 8, and number 8 is
Spiderman Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming was everything I wanted in a Spider-Man movie. It's the best Spider-Man movie since Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, and it is the most fun I have had in a Marvel movie since Guardians of the Galaxy. Tom Holland is absolutely perfect as Spider-Man. In my opinion, I think he is even better than Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. And Michael Keaton was awesome as the Vulture. He is one of my favorite villains in a Marvel movie ever. Let's move on to number 7. And number 7 is
War for the Planet of the Apes.
Just like with Get Out, I unfortunately did not get a chance to review War for the Planet of the Apes. However, I did rent it, and honestly, I absolutely loved it. This rebooted Planet of the Apes trilogy will go down in cinema history as one of the best film trilogies in movie history. And War for the Planet of the Apes was a fantastic way to conclude it. I'm not gonna lie, there were times in this movie where I really started to tear up. It was a very emotional, powerful, and very effective movie. And Caesar was a great character, and it's, what else can you say about it? It's just a fantastic movie, and just a phenomenal trilogy as a whole. Let's move on to number 6, and number 6 is
Blade Runner 2049.
So the original Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies of all time, and Blade Runner 2049 is even better. I do believe that Blade Runner 2049 joins other sequels like Godfather Part 2 and Empire Strikes Back as sequels that are even better than the original. In my opinion, Blade Runner 2049 is probably the most underrated movie of 2017. Why? Well, while critics adored it, they gave it great reviews, but audiences, however, were very divided over it, and it wasn't a hit at the box office. However, I thought it was phenomenal. Alright guys, we finally made it to the top 5. So let's move on to number 5. And number 5 is
Coco.
Pixar, once again, knocked it out of the park. Coco, in my opinion, is the best animated movie of 2017. Not only did Coco have gorgeous animation, but it had an original story, engaging characters, awesome music, and it was just all around a very emotional and effective movie. And yeah, I'll admit it, I was this close to crying during it. Let's be honest, we all cried during it. Let's move on to number 4, and number 4 is
Dunkirk.
Christopher Nolan once again made a phenomenal movie. I loved Dunkirk, and I'll even go as far as saying Dunkirk is probably Christopher Nolan's best movie since Inception. Dunkirk was also a gorgeous movie. I saw it in IMAX, and seeing Dunkirk on this giant IMAX screen was like entering the gates of heaven. It was beautiful. Dunkirk is easily the best war movie since Saving Private Ryan, and I cannot wait to see what else Christopher Nolan has in store for us in the future. Let's move on to number 3, and number 3 is
Logan.
Out of all the superhero movies I have seen this year, I have not seen a more perfect one than Logan. Logan was everything I wanted in a superhero movie. Every single performance in Logan was fantastic. Hugh Jackman, once again, knocked it out of the park as Wolverine, and Logan was also the last movie in which he played Wolverine. I'm gonna really miss him because he was born to play this character. And Patrick Stewart once again played Professor X. He was fantastic also. And Daphne Keane, oh my god, she played Laura, aka X23. She was freaking awesome. And I'm not gonna lie, I teared up during the ending of this movie. I won't spoil what happens just in case if you haven't seen it, but it is the most emotional scene I have seen in a movie all year. And Logan better be nominated for at least like 5 Academy Awards, Best Actor and Best Picture. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be pissed. Alright guys, we finally made it to the top 2. So, let's move on to number 2. And number 2 is
Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Just like with Blade Runner 2049, this was another movie that really divided audiences. Whatever. I don't care. I loved The Last Jedi. It is probably one of the most fun I have had in a movie all year long. Last Jedi took Star Wars to the next level, and it is easily the best Star Wars movie since Empire Strikes Back. And as for the people out there who hated Last Jedi, okay, I respect your opinions, but what? This movie was awesome! How could you not like The Last Jedi? It was badass! Alright guys, this is it. The moment we've all been waiting for. It is time to reveal my number one best movie of 2017. So, without further ado, here it is. My number one best movie of 2017 is
Baby Driver.
So yes, Baby Driver is my number one best movie of 2017. And here are some reasons. Edgar Wright's direction in Baby Driver was fantastic. He is one of the best directors working today. And in fact, I have loved every single one of his movies. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, Scott Pilgrim, and Baby Driver is another one of his fantastic movies. And the performances in it were all awesome. Ansel Elgort, who was also Augustus in Fault in Our Stars, he played Baby, and he was awesome. And Lily James played the girl in Which She Meets, and she was awesome as well. And Jamie Foxx was awesome in it too. And he is probably the best supporting character I have seen in a movie all year. And yes, Kevin Spacey is in this movie as well. We all know what happened to him a few months ago. I'm not going to get into it, but he was great in it, don't worry. And just the car chases, oh my gosh. The car chases are some of the best filmed in movie history. And the soundtrack, oh my goodness. It is probably the best soundtrack in a movie all year long. And because of those reasons, Baby Driver is my number one best movie of 2017. And nothing will ever top it. So that's it for my top 10 best movies of 2017. And I have one announcement to make. I have another top 10 video coming out this week as well. It is my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2018. And that will be uploaded on either Thursday or Friday. I'm not sure yet, but be on the lookout for it. And I have a question for you guys. What are your favorite movies of 2017? Whatever they are, just comment below. And if you want to see more of my videos, just be sure to subscribe.